Welcome back to Stamping at the Warren, and I'm Kim Tolton, and today I have this gatefold card for you using the Farmers Market Designer Series paper, which is in Stampin' Up's current annual catalogue, and it is just a super. We're using a slightly different papers from the Designer Series paper stack today, but I just think that this is just so lovely, and I've coupled the sentiment with one of the greetings from the Greatest Greetings stamp set, which is in the current seasonal catalogue, the spring summer one. You will also need a scallop tag topper or any form of tag topper punch and washi label punch, as well as some ribbon, and I'm using Pear Pizzazz cotton ribbon here for today. So it's a really pretty little card, and you open it in the centre, and you will see here that there is two little tags that give you access to loop your ribbon through. And then if you open it right up, you can see the contrasting papers inside. So I've gone red on the outside, there's red on the inside flaps here, and then you've got this lovely wood grain effect paper in the middle. So great fun, and I think it's always nice to try something a little bit different from just regular cards from time to time. So I've pre-cut everything. I haven't scored it as yet, but I've pre-cut everything, and you can use your scoring tool, you could use your trimmer, which is what I'm doing here, or you could just measure the centre point and bring your two flaps in from there. So this is just a standard A4 piece of cardstock. I'm using Old Olive here, and this measures 21 centimetres by 14.8. And you want to score, you want to line it up at 5.25 centimetres. You want 5 and then the halfway mark. Put your cutting blade well out the way so you don't cut your cardstock. Use the paler, more grey coloured blade, which is your scoring blade, and score. Rotate by 180 degrees and then line it up at 5.25 centimetres again. You have to roughly eyeball it because it's not that precise on the scoring. And there you have it. So you can put your trimmer away and use your bone folder. So you're going to fold so that the ridges are on the inside, and use your bone folder, make sure it's all nicely lined up, and then use your bone folder just to burnish that fold. Repeat with this side, making sure it's all nice and square, and then burnish that fold as well. And that's your basic gatefold. It does overslap slightly, and that's just because the measurements are not so precise. If you measured it by with a ruler and marked it all off, you could get it really specific, but that is good enough for me. You then need 2 pieces of cardstock that measure, says she, well 4 pieces, so you're using 2 separate Designer Series papers, and these each measure 10.1 by 14.4 centimetres. So that's these pieces here. So you'll have 2 pieces on the outside, and the contrast on the inside. All the instructions will be on my blog, so don't get worried about trying to get down all the details. And then you want one piece of designer series paper that measures 14 point, and I've just realised I've trimmed that too wide. Just trim a piece off. Obviously it was tired when I was cutting it all. So this is 14.4 by 10.1 centimetres, so that will be the centre section in here. Yep, I clearly was tired last night. Look, I haven't fully trimmed it, so I'm lying. I was just trying to keep you on your toes. So 14.4. Right, so this piece can go in the middle, and then you can decide which side you want facing. No, see, that is still not. I'm having a moment. I am of that age, you know. We have moments. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it anyway. Right. That's better. Happier with that. Right, so I'm just going to use, for speed's sake, Fast Fuse. And make sure that the designer series paper is facing the correct way. Line it up and down it goes. And whilst we're on the inside, you can put your two pieces. Yeah, see, I obviously trimmed the widths and I didn't trim the lengths. Silly me. There we go. So I've probably done the same with the outside pieces as well, as I cut them all at the same time, so I trim those. So those go in there, and they measure 14.4 by 14.4 by, have to remember now. Bad day, not good enough. Could do better, as my report would probably say. Right, 14.4 centimetres. So 14.4 by 4.9. I knew it off by heart last night. I'd done so many. Right, so 14.4 long by 4.9 wide. And these go down on your side pieces on the inside. So you can see I'm using a completely different paper this time, but from the same pack. It's rather fun, and make sure your arrows are all pointing in the same direction. There you go, so that's the inside, and then your outside. So let's see. Yes, see, done the same thing there. using the artichoke one this time, which I rather like. I love globe artichokes, and we have a new pizzeria locally, and they do my favourite of ingredients, which is, I love globe artichokes, I love capers, I love anchovies. Oh, I am vegetarian, by the way. But it's so nice. And actually the pizza I had yesterday had sultanas on it. Oh, and that was divine, because they were all caramelised and chewy and lovely. So refreshing when you find somewhere that gives good yeah, I was obviously very tired, but this was the last card I prepped last night, and I've done the same thing with everything. Yeah, it's so nice, so refreshing when you find somewhere that does really nice vegetarian options. Right, this is Piece of Very Vanilla, and I've gone with Very Vanilla because it's very vanilla on the background of the paper, and this is your panel for writing on when you write your greeting. There you go. So that's your basic card. Then I have pre-trimmed 2 little pieces of cardstock here, and these are going to go into my scallop tag topper punch, and these each measure 3.2 centimetres wide by 5 centimetres long. Now I know that is nowhere near the full width of the scallop tag topper punch, but you can do it. So slot it in the middle, and you can tap it just to move it, punch, and out it comes. Repeat the same with the other piece of cardstock, and again you can just nudge it from the underside to make sure it's roughly lined up. And there's your second little tag. Left my bin somewhere. Right, and these are going to be put down in the middle here, and that's how you're going to close the card. So just a little bit of fast fuse on here, and just line it all up. First piece, and you can see I've left it so only half of that. If I show you here, I'm only going with the adhesive as far as here, so just over the midway point, so that this tag will still move to allow you to put your ribbon through. And then same on this side, lining it up as closely as you can with the other tag. There you go. And then some ribbon. And I've used 3 different greens here. We've got Old Olive is the base cardstock, and here, and we've got Pear Pizzazz, and you've got excuse me, Brain's Gone Dead. That is from the Regals collection, which is Always Artichoke. So you've got 3 completely different greens, and yet they all work together. Coordination is Stampin' Up's biggest selling point for me, because it makes all the hard work so easy. It just takes hard work out of it, because everything coordinates, and not just in its own colour collection but across all the colour collections. Must take somebody an awful lot of research. Right, here we go with my ribbon tying. How I tie my ribbon. So tie the knot so it is facing you, so it's in the right orientation as you want it. Place one finger on the knot and swivel your card by 180 degrees. And then you bring up one loop, and the key is that the tails are all going away from you. Then with your second loop, you want it roughly the same size as the first loop, and then you tie a knot, and then you can turn it back the right way. And from here, if you give the two tails a little bit of a gentle pull in the right direction, what you will find is you can shorten the tails of your bow so that they're pretty even. This one needs to be shortened a bit more, and then you'll pull again, and you may do that a couple of times until you're absolutely happy. Get your paper shears and just trim off the excess, and you will find you waste much less ribbon that way than trying to measure it out and then finding you're too short or much too long. So that's the basic card. Then we've just got a little bit of stamping to do. So that is with, let's have a look, Go Green. So I just haven't got my acrylic block out, naughty me. I knew I forgot something. Right, so I'm going Go Green again, and you just want a scrap piece of card. Says me with no scrap card around. Oh dear. Right, 1 moment. Quick dash. And I'm back. The joy of having everything close to me. Right, basic black for the sentiment, and my reasoning for that is the black has been used in the designer series paper, so I'm going to echo that with the sentiment. And I'm again using very vanilla cardstock just to keep everything coordinated. And use the washi label punch. Your punch, doesn't matter which way round you have your sentiment, punch so that one edge is fairly close. Can you see there? Fairly close to the edge of the punch. Like that. Then you can turn your sentiment tag around and then feed it back through between the cutting plates. Pull it through with your fingers, and then you can line it up at the edge again, and bingo. There you go. And you've got a sentiment that is nice and small. And pop a couple of Stampin' dimensionals on the back of there. sure I've got my card the right way round. And then just pop your little sentiment in there somewhere. And there is your card, all finished. So I hope you like that. 2 completely different cards. I love the way that you can have one designer series paper pack and have very different effects, and I think they're both really lovely. So yeah, I was up around the wrong way, look. So, and you will find the right person for those to go to, and I think anybody would love to get one of those if they're just in need of a bit of a pick-me-up. Yeah, I think that would be really lovely. I know I'd like to get a card like that if I just needed a little bit of a... It says, I'm thinking of you, without saying it, doesn't it, really? And isn't that what our cards are all about? They're there to try and make somebody smile, even if it's only for a little part of their day. If we can make somebody smile, a bit like baking. We bake to make other people feel warm and fuzzy, because that's what we want for people that we care about. So there you have it. I will ensure all of the dimensions are on my blog. You will see that there is a direct link from my video to this tutorial on my blog. So just click that link, it will take you straight there. And you can also access it from the cards. You know, there's like a little circle with an exclamation mark in the top right corner of my video. If you click on there and then click on the card that comes up, it will ping you through to today's post, and I'll make sure all of the dimensions are in there for you so that you can replicate today's card. And you can also order any products you would like to order by clicking on the product icons, and that will take you straight through to my online store. If you're not in the UK, don't worry, it will no doubt take you through to stampinup.net in the States, where you'll be able to order, or whichever country you are closest to that has a demonstrator. And that's it. So do leave your comments, and all my social media, as always, is in the show more section. Would love to hear from you. Follow my Pinterest community board, as that's a lovely way of us all sharing our creative ideas in one place, and like-minded Stampin' Up enthusiasts. But you do not have to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator or a Stampin' Up enthusiast to get involved in that board. All you need is some interest obvious on your Pinterest board that you like crafting, and especially papercraft. And once you follow the board, I'll be able to send you a invitation to join me, and then you can pin your own photos. So that's it for today, and thank you for watching. And I'll try and be more organised tomorrow. I'm so organised prior to sitting down here to video, and then it all goes pear-shaped sometimes. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.